welcome to another edition of E.W. Jackson for America. I'm smiling real big because everything worked. And I was thinking to myself, am I going to have to reach over here? But everything worked perfectly. Praise God. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope all of you are ready. And people ask all the time, are you ready for Christmas? And of course, I'm one of those people who always says, I will be. I am never ready for Christmas in advance. In fact, what's today? Thursday. Christmas is Monday. I plan to try to take care of a few last minute things today. So that's, and sometimes folks literally on Christmas Eve, I'm out trying to figure out, okay, what did I not do? What did I not get? Who did I forget? But, you know, let's face it, the real meaning of Christmas is, and I hope that you had a chance to listen to my message from Sunday, which we aired on Monday, which I talked about. Christmas is really the fulfillment of a covenant promise of Almighty God to his people, and it really is not for people who are not Christians. It really isn't. Now, that doesn't mean people can't celebrate Christmas. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be a Grinch and say, you don't have a right to celebrate Christmas. Of course, everybody can. They can join in the celebration. But the true meaning of Christmas, you can't really join in anyway if you don't know Jesus Christ. Because the true meaning of Christmas is that for thousands of years, God was promising that one would come who would save us from our sins. And Christmas is the celebration of the fulfillment of that promise, the birth of Jesus, Yeshua, Yamashiach, Jesus, the Christ, the Anointed One, the Savior of the world, God in human form to save us from our sins. That's the real meaning. And all the other stuff that we get caught up in, and I do too. So look, I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody else. Why doesn't everybody celebrate Christmas the way I do? I'm so great at it. You know? I mean, because we do all of this kind of secular stuff. Of course, right now, it's my wife and I are going to be home together for Christmas. We're always together, but you know we won't be visiting for anybody for Christmas, and we don't think we're going to have any visitors for Christmas. So we're going to spend. I think this is probably the first time. This may be the first time in our marriage we're going to actually spend our Christmas alone. So we're kind of damping down the decorations because, of course, that's a lot of work, and we don't really need to do that. You know, if we're not going to have our granddaughter here, we're not going to have family here. So we're going to sort of damp those down. Not that we're not doing anything, my wife is, but it's going to be modest. In fact, I don't even know whether we're going to have a Christmas tree. You know, which, of course, some of you are, no Christmas tree, how could you dare? You know? But believe it or not, folks, when I left foster care and went to live with my dad, and we were two bachelors, we never had a Christmas tree. And it didn't bother me. I mean, two guys. In fact, I don't even know whether we even put up decorations, to tell you the truth. I don't recall that we ever did. I mean, Christmas is really about our spending time together. We had a traditional thing that we did of having dinner at my godmother's house, Artie Walker, my father's best friend, after whom I was named, by the way. My name is Earl Walker Jackson. I was named after Earl Walker, who was his best friend. And we had dinner with them every Christmas and Thanksgiving as long as they were alive. And, well, of course, you know, while I was growing up, at least. So I wasn't a Christian at that time, and I wasn't really thinking about that. But let's face it, it's not about the Christmas trees, and it's not about the holly, and it's not about the lights, and it's not about all of that, okay? All of that stuff has come over from the Christmas tree, as you all know. The Tannenbaum came over from Germany. That was a German celebration. You know, the Germans really kind of taught Americans how to party. No, I kid you not. I mean, you know, Germans were big into festivals and good times and that kind of thing. I'm talking about, you know, we think of World War II, and that's our association with Germany, but Germany has a history long before that. and the whole notion of the Oktoberfest and the festivals and all of that, a lot of that is German influence. The beer, drinking beer, of course, and having a good time. A lot of that is German influence. Well, the Christmas tree really came over from Germany. That's not original to America, but it's certainly not part of the Christmas that the Bible talks about. Okay, so. And again, that's not a criticism of it, because we've had Christmas trees when our children were growing up. We had a Christmas tree every year. We used to debate sometimes whether we wanted a natural Christmas tree. I always liked artificial Christmas trees because I thought they were just easier to deal with. But my wife wanted natural Christmas trees, so I'd go out like the hunter, the man hunter, the man in full, going out and hunting down the Christmas tree. And bringing the Christmas tree home and setting it up. And then, she would decorate it. I would do a little bit of that, but she would do most of the decorating, and our children would decorate. But look, so again, please don't think I'm just dumping on all of that. What I said in my message is, as long as that does not become a substitute for the real meaning of Christmas. And of course, we know for people in the world it is. That's all there is. I was at the dentist's office yesterday. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. And, they got me in the chair, and I'm looking at the window, and they've got a Christmas decoration in the window. It had a Christmas tree, a reindeer, a snowflake, something like that. And I thought to myself, that's what Christmas is to some people. And of course, it is not that to me. I just kind of chuckled to myself and thought to myself, that's just, to me, that stuff's just meaningless. It really is. Again, this is a public place, and they probably, are a little bit skittish given where we are in our country right now, about putting up, for example, a nativity scene or a sign that says Christ is born. Would have been fine with me, by the way, but they might have had a problem, probably a little fear that some of their clientele might not like that. But that's the real meaning of Christmas, whether people like it or not, right? That's the real meaning of Christmas. And I would say that as we continue to slide into an era of anti-Christian bigotry and hatred. By the way, I'm working on a project right now, a program as part of STAND, to address the issue of anti-Christian hatred and bigotry, because nobody is addressing that. And that's a very real problem in our country today. There are two groups of people today you can disparage and talk about like dogs, and nobody will accuse you of discrimination or bigotry or prejudice. You can talk about white men. You can talk about them like they are just the dregs of the earth and the worst thing that ever set foot on earth, right? No problem with that. Because after all, white men they're the problem of mankind, right? They're the scourge of the earth. And of course, I'm being sarcastic when I say that, because it's preposterous. It's ridiculous. The Bible teaches there is none righteous, no, not one. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. We are all under sin. We are all condemned without Jesus Christ. And there's no difference between people based upon the color of their skin or their ancestral origin or where their ancestors came from. That's just it's just complete garbage. And the left is selling it to our country. So that's a group, you can just disparage them. We don't want a group of old white men, and everybody says, that's right. Now, what if you turn that around and say, we don't need a group of old black men? Oh, that's a racist. Oh, how dare you say that? Well, it's just as racist when you say it about white people as you say it about black people. Just as racist. But that's one group. The other group is Christians. They're the equivalent of the Taliban. They're like Hamas. They're dangerous. They're a threat to our democracy. They're Christian nationalists. AKA Nazis, because that's really what they're getting at when they call us Christian nationalists. You know, and everybody says, "Yeah, we get the point. Yeah, that's, you know, they really are. They're homophobic. They're Islamophobic. They're you know, whatever other phobias you can come up, transphobic, and all of that." Those two groups, you can disparage them all you want. If you substituted black or women or Hispanic or Asian or anything else in there, or Jew or Muslim, that's the third rail. But if you substitute any of those, of course, Jewish people are now, we're seeing this rising expression of anti-Semitism. It was always there. And it may be getting worse now because we've got the indoctrination machine that's been working for so long, indoctrinating our young people for so long, that now we're seeing them willing to express their disdain for Jewish people and their hatred of Jewish people in Israel. So you can disparage Jews too. That's not a problem. So Christians, Jews, white men, it's a free-for-all. Just go for it. Just, you know what? Just string them up and throw darts at them. No problem. Well, at any rate, given the rising anti-Christian bigotry and hatred in the country, we're going to have to become a lot more fastidious, a lot more attentive to making sure that the authentic nature of Christmas is acknowledged, at least by us, so that those around us see what Christmas means to us. Because the world is going to increasingly deny Jesus Christ and what he's done for us, what he's done for the world. They're going to increasingly deny that. And we want people to be saved. We want people to come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. And they're not going to, it is going to become increasingly more difficult for them to find that truth. Let's put it that way. As our society becomes more hostile to Christianity, and we're not just talking about neutrality, we're talking about hostility. As our society becomes more hostile to Christianity, we're going to have to confront the fact that we as Christians are going to have to become more bold and forthright in the proclamation of our faith. You just see that that school department, that school district, I forget where it was, let me see if I've got it in my stack of stuff, that banned Christmas decorations on buses and said they didn't want the buses, here we go, the Wallingford Swarthmore School District in Pennsylvania. In fact, that's not far from where I lived. I attended a program at Swarthmore College when I was in 9th grade. But they told them they wanted all the Christmas decorations taken down. Now, they backed off because the people in the community said, what is wrong with you all? I mean, what is your problem? Where do we get this kind of neurotic paranoia where, oh, Christmas decorations, get those off. They're not inclusive. I mean, you know, Christmas is a federal holiday. All of our federal and most, I would dare say probably all state offices are closed on Christmas Day. That might be a constitutional crisis. How dare we celebrate Christmas by giving people time off? That's horrible. That's where it all goes, right? I mean, that's logically, if you follow the logical extension of take down the decorations, that's not inclusive. You are offending people. Well, I mean, my goodness, doesn't it offend people to say, hey, you get the day off? Why? Because people are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Ooh, no. That's enough to give you agita. That's enough to send you into apoplexy, right? You know, oh no, we can't do that. Separation of church and state. That's going to get worse, folks. It's going to get worse. I don't know whether people will ever demand that they have a right to work on Christmas Day because it's discriminatory to make me to give me time off on Christmas Day. People are probably even crazy leftists are probably a little too selfish to want that. but you get my point. So this district, they wanted to take down all the Christmas decorations. Now, I guess that's been rescinded because of the hue and cry from the community. But just think about that. That doesn't come out of, I'm really concerned about people and I don't want them to be hurt. No. That comes out of, I really hate Christianity and I want to suppress it. Let's get rid of it so that people don't see its markings, its characteristics. And probably the decorations that these bus drivers are putting up were probably all secular stuff, bells and ribbons, a reindeer or a Santa Claus. Probably nothing of any true spiritual nature from a Christian perspective, because none of that stuff is Christian. That's just all secular celebration. But they don't even want that, because they know that even that might lead people to say, well, it is Christmas. And there is somewhere, I think I heard with regard to Christmas, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel, God with us. I think I heard that somewhere with regard to Christmas. They don't even want people to be reminded. I mean, that's how horrible it's gotten. And folks, sad to say, it's going to get worse. It is going to get worse. Well, let's see. What do we have today? I'm going to hit a number of things today. Actually, I got through that opening comment more quickly than I normally do. So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be on AFR at 9:06, which means I've got to end earlier than I normally do. It shouldn't really be early, but earlier than I normally do, because I'm going to be on with Jeff Shreve on American Family Radio here in about 15 minutes, 16 minutes or so. So I can't go but so long. I did not know this, folks, and maybe you did, but I did not know this. Did you know that the Department of Homeland Security took air marshals off the airplanes and are now deploying them to the southern border for the purpose of providing care and transportation for illegal immigrants, shuttling them back and forth to the airport and helping to process them? Yes, they have deployed air marshals to the southern border. Now, they're bringing terrorists across the border in who knows how many numbers, I dare say in droves. These people, by the way, this happened a year ago. I didn't know anything about it, but it's being talked about now because we're in a big travel season. But the air marshals who were put there to deal with the possibility of the hijacking of an aircraft are now instead being used as babysitters for illegal immigrants. I talked about illegal immigration yesterday. I'm not going to go into a long discussion about it today, but once again, it just goes to show something I've said before. These corrupt politicians don't care about you and me. You say, well, why would you pull air marshals off of airlines when you know terrorism still exists? There are terrorists still looking for ways to attack us. Why would you pull air marshals off of airlines which provide a level of protection and security for the American traveler and send them to the southern border to babysit people who shouldn't even be here in the first place? Because you don't care about the American people. You don't care what happens to them. You care about your political agenda and getting these people processed in. That's your agenda, getting them into the country, as I said yesterday, in order to pursue your own power grab. That's really what it's all about. And just another indication is, look, you can't explain their actions any other way. There is no other logical explanation for it. I do want to get into this here again. I don't have a whole lot of time to do it, but, you know, San Francisco appointed a reparations commission. They gave them a $2 million budget. And what they came up with was that they're going to give $5 million to every eligible black person in San Francisco, $5 million to every eligible black person, and I don't know how eligibility is determined. They're going to guarantee an income of $97,000 a year for 250 years. I'm not making it up, folks. Now, I don't know who's supposed to live 250 years, but whoever those people are, they're going to get $97,000 a year. I guess them, their descendants. $97,000 a year for 250 years. They're going to provide homes for black residents at $1 each. They expected the plan to cost $175 billion. Well, guess what? As a result of a budget shortfall and deficits, the city of San Francisco does not have the money to fund the commission that's studying reparations. No. Do you get the irony? We're going to give every black person $5 million. We're going to buy a home for them and give it to them for $1. We're going to pay every black person $97,000 a year, and we're going to continue that for 250 years. Oh, one problem. We don't have the $2 million a year to pay for the commission that is kind of giving us the blueprint for how we're going to do reparations. I mean, you know, we're going to spend $175 billion on reparations for the black folks we identified as entitled to it, I guess because they're the descendants of slaves or whatever. We're going to spend $175 billion on, but we don't have $2 million for the commission that is giving us the guidance on exactly how we're going to do this. It's like, you can't make this stuff up, folks. But now, we know there's no intention whatsoever to give every black person $5 million a year or $5,000 a year, A. B, there's no intention to buy homes for black people and give them away to them at $1 a home. And C, there's no plan to give black folks $97,000 a year or $97 a year in perpetuity, in effect, for 250 years. That's in perpetuity. Then why are they talking about it? Because they're pandering to make sure that the black voters know to vote for Democrats because they're going to give them something, whether it ever appears or not. And you know, the sad thing that must be said about this, it really is a very sad indication of the utter disdain and disrespect that these leftist politicians have for black people, because they really believe that they are incapable of cogent thought. They really believe that they are incapable of rational analysis. Because that's a joke. But they act like it's serious because they believe that emotionally black folks will say, yeah, somebody's doing something about it. And you know, the sad thing is they've indoctrinated enough of them that enough of them will buy into it. Some of them will. I mean, you saw some of the hearings where they said, you know, $5 million is not enough. Right? Like you think you're going to get $5 million. You know? I mean, for me, I was thinking about this. I want to increase my audience, okay? I want to get a lot more people watching this program. I want to expand it and vary it. And I told you I want to start doing interviews and start doing some graphics and showing you some videos and doing other things with the program that I don't have the capacity to do right now. And so what if I came on and said, I tell you what, every single one of you that reaches out to at least 10 people, well, let's make it 25. I'm going to give you $100,000. All you got to do is send me the names of 25 people you reached out to, and I'll give you $100,000. Now, if I said that, my audience, being the intelligent audience it is, would say, he's joking, obviously, because it would be a joke. And if I actually thought that you would go out and do it because you thought I was going to send you a check for $100,000, that would not say anything about you. It would say a lot about what I think of you, right? It would say a lot about what I think about you, because it would say, I think you're stupid. That's what it would be saying. I don't think you're stupid. And I wouldn't say anything that dumb. And unless I said it as some kind of joke, because I know my audience is too intelligent to even take something like that seriously. But the left thinks black folks are too dumb to know better. And the sad thing is, some of them are. Case in point, Al Sharpton. He's out now. New York is working on a reparations commission too. They're talking about doing one. And here they got, you know, one of the biggest clowns in the country, Al Sharpton, right smack in the middle of it. Al Sharpton, who flies around on private jets. Al Sharpton, who last time I checked had a budget of $5, $6, $7 million a year that people give him. Al Sharpton, who's got some kind of stupid program on the Marxist Socialist No Brains channel, MSNBC. He said, yes, we need a reparations commission. Well, Al Sharpton is dumb. But they think everybody's as dumb as Al Sharpton is. Well, is Al Sharpton that dumb? I don't know. You know, I don't know whether Al Sharpton is dumb or cunning, or maybe a combination of the two. I think cunning people who set out to con other people, are inherently stupid in the end, because sooner or later they're going to get caught, and sooner or later they're going to be shamed for it. Sooner or later there are going to be consequences. And just like all criminals, because to me morally at least, that's criminal to think that way. I'm going to use people and manipulate people. And people who think that way, to me, are inherently stupid, because they think that somehow they're going to advance themselves that way. And it's just not going to work. You know, talent, ability will take you up, but bad character will bring you right back down, and believe me, crashing down. Just like Jesus said in the parable about the man who built his house on a rock versus the one who built his house on the sand. He said the man who built the house on the rock, when the floods came and the winds blew and the storms beat against that house, it did not fall because it was founded on the rock. He said, but the man who built his house on the sand, he said, when the floods came and the winds blew and the storms beat against that house, it fell. He said, and great was the fall of it. In other words, the fall was calamitous. It was a disaster of untold proportions. And that's exactly what is going to happen to these people who think they're getting over on everybody and using and manipulating everybody in order to enrich themselves and to put themselves in a position of some power, some influence, and so forth. And you know, and the sad thing is, you'll get even conservative magazines covering an idiot like Al Sharpton and not covering somebody like me. Now, I don't say that selfishly me, because obviously it's not just me, it's others too, with voices like mine, who don't get the attention, and you get an idiot like Al Sharpton, and what he says gets covered. I mean, because who cares what Al Sharpton says or thinks? I mean, nobody with a brain does. But that's another matter. Well, look, I want to remind you again before I go, and I do have to go, January 15th, if you're in the area, the Martin Luther King Leadership Breakfast at the Chesapeake Conference Center. Go to thecall.org. January 27th, 6 p.m. at the Chesapeake Conference Center, 700 Conference Center Drive in Chesapeake, Virginia, the Andrew Wommack event, 6 p.m. Go to the website, standamerica.us, and you can register for that event there. You can buy tickets for the Martin Luther King Leadership Breakfast at thecall.org, and you can register for the event with Andrew Wommack at standamerica.us. It's being co-sponsored by co-sponsored by Stand and the Call Church. All right, that's going to do it, folks. I've got to go. Got to be with Pastor Jeff Shreve on American Family Radio. Say, I can actually do 30 minutes. I just did it. Miracles can and do happen. In the meantime, you stand up, step up, speak up, refuse to back up. Because we cannot be defeated if we will not quit. Because we are on God's side.